Well, not only did I have an interesting experience as a VIP, but something awfully strange happened during the Rivers of Nihil concert that I'll get to. But that means that I have to grade them on a curve. So when I review this show, please keep in mind that there was extenuating circumstances. Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, John Barbas. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for this week's Riff of the Week. I went and saw Rivers of Nihil opening for the Contortionist this past week, and I didn't even know it, but the ticket I bought was a VIP ticket, and I got to see cool stuff before the show that I wasn't even expecting. I just bought the best ticket I could get to see Rivers of Nihil. I didn't even know really who the Contortionist was at this point. And then I learned, and I was like, holy shit. And then I learned I had a VIP ticket, and I was like, really? I learned that the day of the show. Well, not only did I have an interesting experience as a VIP, but something awfully strange happened during the Rivers of Nihil concert that I'll get to. But that means that I have to grade them on a curve. So when I review this show, please keep in mind that there was extenuating circumstances, and that's where my grade is coming from. So to explain what's going on with the whole VIP situation, I saw that Rivers of Nihil was going to be in Atlanta, and I said, I can't miss them again. I love this band so much, I cannot miss them again. So I bought a ticket. I just opened up the ticket agency's app. I forget which one it was. I mean, it looked like general admission to me. I mean, it did seem a little expensive. For instance, in December, I'm going to see Cannibal Corpse, Dark Funeral, and Immolation. And that ticket was like 30 something bucks. So, I mean, first of all, that's just a cheap ticket. For that lineup, that's incredibly cheap. But that's about what I would expect to pay for a band that's playing in the size venue that in this case is Terminal West. For a venue that size, I would expect to pay about 35 bucks for a general admission seat. Well, this ticket, I forget because I bought it a long time ago. It was like 40, 50 bucks or something like that. And, and that's not outrageous. That's not like a $250 nosebleed seat to see fucking Metallica. It's not crazy. But for that venue, I did think like, that does seem a little high. Not too high, like maybe like $5 higher than I would expect. Nothing that made me even think twice about it. I was like, okay, fine. I love Rivers of Nihil. I'll pay it. And I bought the ticket. So here we are, the day of the concert, which was this past Wednesday. And I got an email from the Contortionist saying, hey, by the way, make sure you show up to Will Call early because of your VIP stuff. If you don't show up beforehand, they will not ship you your VIP stuff. And I was like, what VIP stuff? So then I dug through the details and I was like, oh, I've got a VIP ticket. So I think what happened is all the general admission was already sold out when I bought my ticket. I think the ticket app, by default, I have it set to best seats available. And there probably weren't any more tickets left except for those VIP tickets. So I just bought the best ticket I could get and boom, there it was. So what came with the VIP? Well, the VIP came with a couple of little swag items like a bag and a signed poster and stuff like that. That's cool. But then also there was a long Q&A session with the Contortionist where they just sat at the front of the stage and the people that had VIP tickets who were allowed in the venue early were able to just ask them questions and they answered them, and it got a little personal. Like, I was really surprised. I mean, those dudes, they weren't shy. They answered the questions honestly, and it got a little deep, and I was like, okay, that's impressive. I feel like I got my money's worth on that one. And people who are big fans of the Contortionist who bought the VIP on purpose, they knew all their songs and stuff. I really felt like, wow, that's pretty cool that y'all got to just talk to them like that. And then after the Q&A was over, they played 2 new songs that's going to be on the next record for us. Now, I recorded the Q&A, but I did not record the new songs. They explicitly asked for us all to keep our phones in our pockets during the new song because they didn't want them getting leaked on YouTube, and I respect that. I mean, I would never do that anyway. I get access to some stuff early thanks to my work with Metal Digest and this podcast. So I've already been well accustomed to, you can't talk about this yet. All I can say is it sounded very cool. So like I said, I didn't really know the Contortionist before this, But I did my due diligence before the concert. I was like, okay, well, let me listen to this stuff. And it's very progressive. Think like Tesseract or Carnival or something like that. And some of the early albums were a lot heavier than their most recent release. And these new songs sound like the nice bridge the gap between the mellowness of their newest album and some of the heavier stuff from their older albums. So if you're a Contortionist fan and you like it heavy, you should be excited for the next Contortionist album, whenever that's going to be. So next up, one of my favorite new bands that there is on the planet, Rivers of Nihil, to do their performance. And they walk up on stage and the bass player walks up to the microphone and he says, "Hey, we're incredibly sorry, but our singer is not here with us tonight because he's off handling personal business. But we're still going to play the show and we hope you enjoy it." And then he said, "This is the work." And they proceeded to play the work in its entirety. And it was almost flawless. I could not believe that they pulled that off without their lead singer. And that's what I meant during the beginning of the episode when I said I have to grade them on a curve. There were a couple of things about this performance that I felt wasn't as good as it could have been. But given the extraordinary circumstances, it's incredible that they even pulled it off. And then, of course, the stuff that they did well, they did very well. And why was it so incredible? Well, I'll tell you, they have a stand-alone singer. And that means that the band can play whatever they want because they don't have to worry about, I need to play a little bit more simple here because I have to sing. Well, that bass player handled all of the lead duties. That bass player sings a lot of the clean stuff already and a lot of the harmonies, but all the growly stuff is normally done by their lead singer. And now he is doing the growly parts where he normally can just play bass. And he's not one of these bass players that just plays the root note. No, this dude is all over the bass. There were several times where he was two-hand tapping and doing the growly parts at the same time. And I was absolutely floored by that. I could not believe how he pulled that off. Really technical bass parts while handling somebody else's singing duties. Incredible. And it sounded so much like the album that after the show was over, I actually uploaded like a 45-second clip to YouTube Shorts of one of the saxophone solos. And then there was a couple of vocal parts in there. And it got flagged by the copyright algorithm. It was like, yep, that's ours. So even in a live performance, the algorithm recognized it and flagged it. So that's why that short's not up there. I had to take it down. It probably wouldn't have hurt the channel, but who's going to take any chances? Speaking of hurting the channel, if you're listening audio only, then you might have missed it because I talked about it on my YouTube exclusive weekend show and we made posts in the community posts and I did talk about it on social media, but maybe you don't. Yoda, man, you just go put your face under the door? So you may not follow on social media and that's fine. No, man, go on somewhere. I'm recording. All right, sorry about that. I love that cat. What I was saying was, if you're listening audio only, you may have missed the announcement. We broke 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. I'm so grateful to how positive this community has been. So everybody give yourself a pat on the back. I wish I could do it personally. Thank you so much. Now let's continue with the show. So I already knew from listening to Rivers of Nihil for a while now that their drummer is just excellent. And I was a big fan of his background vocals. I think his background vocals gives that band something so unique. That 70s prog style of background vocals behind a death metal vocalist, it just creates a sound that no other band has. But having seen him live, that dude is a monster behind the kit, and he's doing that while singing. I was absolutely floored by that. Now, one big negative for me, and this is completely my fault, okay? I was on the front, I was hanging over the barrier. I fucked up. I put myself in the wrong position during the concert. So, you know, most of my roles as a musician in the past was as a lead guitar player. So y'all know I love to look at the lead guitar player, and I put myself in front of the rhythm guitar player. No disrespect to him. He put on a hell of a show. He's an excellent singer, and I actually learned a couple of things by watching him play. So no disrespect to him. I love that dude. His beard is fucking fantastic. But I really wanted to see the lead work, and I put myself in the wrong position. And the reason why is because, I have to get in some food. I just have to. And traffic got a little fucked up in Atlanta, and I didn't get to the venue as early as I wanted. But then I walked around the venue trying to find some place to eat. There's no fucking where to eat around that venue. It's all like hipster office buildings. They got fucking swings and bean bags and shit in them. I couldn't find any fucking food. So after the Q&A was over, I'm fucking starving. So I was like, I have to get something in me. So rather than claiming my spot in front of the stage, I went to the bar and I got a Guinness. I was like, give me the fucking heaviest shit you got, just to get something in my stomach. I got a Guinness. It was fucking delicious. But then when I got back to the stage, the right side of the stage was already taken up with VIP people. And I knew they were about to open the doors for general admission soon. So I just grabbed the left side, hanging over the barrier, and I was not in front of the lead guitar player. I was so close to the stage, I could still see a lot, but I could not see the way that he would lean over and play the synth as well. I did not know that all of those synth parts were played by the lead guitar player as well. I thought they had a guy to do synth. No, he does it, which is even more incredible. So not only is the bass player pulling double duty, but the lead guitar player is pulling double duty, and the rhythm guitar player and the drummer are both integral parts of the backing vocals. Just everybody is busy. They got a lot of work to do, no pun intended, performing this album. So needless to say, as a fan, I was absolutely blown away and I enjoyed it so much. But there was a couple of things that I didn't like. And I feel like if Rivers of Nihil can grow to the place that they deserve to be, that their talent merits, that this will fix part of that show. And if they'd had their singer, maybe this would fix it too. But since they were playing the work in its entirety, it's a complex album. There was a lot of stuff that they had to do in between songs. So after every song was over, the bass player and the rhythm guitar player would walk off of the stage and, I don't know, get another guitar that's probably tuned different or set something up. And the way that they filled that time is over the PA, some sort of ambient stuff would be playing that leads up into the next track. It just took too long. It took too long. If Rivers if they were bigger and they had their own road crew, like the guitar player had his own guitar tech and didn't have to do it himself, somebody should just hand him the next guitar that's tuned the way he needs it to be, or I need an 8-string for this song, or whatever the case may be. And he shouldn't have to walk off the stage and do a bunch of setup. He should just be handed a guitar and let's go, next song. Especially since this isn't a band that really does a lot of banter with the audience in between songs. So that was a boring, like sometimes 10, 15, 20 seconds in between songs. I'm like, okay. And then if the next song is like one of those softer ones that starts out slow, and you just came off of a banger, it killed the momentum. It didn't ruin the show. It's a minor gripe. And again, if they'd had their lead singer, then maybe he could be doing something between songs. Or if they were as big as they deserve to be, maybe they got a road crew that can hand them the stuff they need, and this wouldn't be a problem. So I foresee in the future that it won't be a problem. Last thing I'll say is I'm so incredibly happy that I got to see them. And at the same time, I'm disappointed because I feel like I didn't really get to see them. The lead singer wasn't there. So as good as they did, and it was incredible how good they did, I feel like I didn't see them at their full capabilities. So I feel like I have to see Rivers of Nihil again. I almost feel like I didn't really see them. Almost. Like 98%. That's how good they pulled it off without him. incredible. And I hope everything's okay with the lead singer. I hope it's just a minor hiccup. Best wishes to River of Nihil. So for the performance, grading them on a curve, and again, grading them on a curve, this is a 9 out of 10. You know, maybe if I didn't grade them on a curve, maybe it's like a 7 or an 8. But they also did not play Where Owls Know My Name, so fucking 0 out of 10. God damn, I gotta see that song when when Rivers of Nihil plays live. You have to play Where Owls Know My Name. That's like if Metallica didn't play Enter Sandman. I get that you were doing the work in its entirety. Do that, then close the show with Where Owls Know My Name. Come on, y'all. Now, lastly, I'll just say that the Contortionist was amazing. Just so technical, but concert-wise, it just didn't really do it for me. You know, I'm a death metal dude, and it's hard to get past that. And as much of a prog nerd as I can be, and as much as the Contortionist is fully scratching that itch, the show they just look like normal dudes. You'll see that in the Q&A footage. All of them just look like some dude that you work with in your office. The bass player looks kind of cool. The keyboard player looks kind of cool, like maybe they're in a rock and roll band. Everybody else is just a short-haired dude. I love this, but the lead guitar player looks like a fucking nerd. And I love that. That guy's fucking awesome. But it just didn't create, you know, and the lead singer did a good job of being a frontman. And that made up for the fact that everybody else is kind of standing so still. And they have to stand so still because they're so technical. And, you know, and the lights were great and all, but I'm a death metal dude, y'all. I just want to see headbanging. I'm sorry. It's not their fault. It's my fault. So Contortionist, you know, 7, 8 out of 10. Maybe I would have been in a better mood if I'd have heard Where Owls Know Your Name. And that's where I'm going to end it. You know, if unfortunately this tour is about to end, I would say, like, hey, make sure y'all go see it because it's incredible. But there's only like 2 more shows left. Hopefully they'll tour together again, or hopefully we get a Rivers of Nihil headlining tour. Just to close, before we do the riff of the week, again, thank you everybody for getting us past 1,000. The next sub goal is 1,337. So if you love metal the way that I love metal, hit subscribe. Now for the riff of the week, since it was Rivers of Nihil, and I love that band so much, and my favorite song off of the new album, The Work, which was my 2021 album of the year, Focus. That'll be our riff of the week. Thank you so much. If you're on YouTube, click right here. You'll catch another awesome episode of Heavy Metal Philosophy. And if you're audio only, thank you so much. We'll catch you next week. Remember, read philosophy, listen to metal. I love you.